We do have another super chat.
Super chat.
Cali Toenail, why do you think these guys go out here seemingly like every week with tables, ladders, chairs, steps, wire, blood, and it's just a Wednesday, not a pay-per-view? He's referring to
Yeah,
AEW.
that's exactly what he's talking about, man. Hey, I totally 100% agree. And the thing is, I really think it's a place for that. Doing those type of matches, tables, ladder, chairs, blood. It's a place for it. Fans, they've always gravitated to that in professional wrestling. It's always been a part of the culture in professional wrestling. I know things changed along the way as far as the blood thing goes, but I'm sure it's something that AEW fans, it's a pretty appealing to them. Let's just say that. But I do think, just like yourself, for pay-per-view, man, that's money. That's giving me a whole lot more. It's giving me a little bit extra. On a Wednesday night, going off with, bloods and gore, it's hard for me to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
But then again, it's just not my cup of tea. It may be yours. So to each his own as far as that go. But I do think for pay-per-view, that would be much more appealing for me as a fan waiting to actually see something special. So yeah, I agree 100%. What about you, Brad?
I mean, I agree. I don't want to see it every single week. I do also understand there's a few things going on with AEW, right? We talked about it actually now on our lost episode from Monday, but we talked about the fact of AEW only runs quarterly pay-per-views. So I guess you can't expect fans to always wait 3 months at a time to get something big and exciting. You don't want to, though, do it every single week, and then the bar and expectations are raised to the nth degree for when you do a pay-per-view. Because now if you're doing that every week, when you go to do a pay-per-view, you got to do stuff like the Young Bucks cage match, where they're almost dying in the ring trying to get a rise out of the people. So you have to balance it. I do think there's a place for that, especially because WWE doesn't do it at all as far as the blood and gut stuff. So if you're going to be the alternative and you want to bring in a different audience.
I totally disagree, man. I mean, I could be wrong. Just because, I watched the match with Moxley and CM Punk versus FTR. That match, was very, very entertaining, and it was very high impact. It had a lot going on. I think a lot of that could actually fuel your show on a weekly basis if you give them enough of that, from a perspective like those type of matches without the blood and gore. I think people will still buy into that, and I do think with the pay-per-views, they could actually be much more valuable if you did save that kind of stuff for those pay-per-views. I really do.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm not in disagreement, but I just think go for it.
No, I just think it takes away so much from what they could have in a pay-per-view, because that's when, just say for instance, this is the way I've always thought. Okay, I mean, and it's just me. You have your house show, right? Then you have your overseas tours. Those shows are pretty much shows where you're getting your craft down, working on your showmanship, working on your psychology with the fans and whatnot. And then you have your TV. All right, your TV is where you're going to go out. You're going to work your ass off, but you're going to give them only so much. And then when you got to that pay-per-view, that's when we really had to go out and give them their money's worth. That was just my thought process. And I just don't think that, giving it to them on television and then being able to give them that same thing on pay-per-view, I just think they're missing something. I just think they could be getting so much more. I could be wrong. That's just my,
I also think what you said there is true, but I also think it's true amongst all wrestling, right? Even WWE. There's a lot of matches that they do on Raw and SmackDown that they could save for pay-per-view, and it would feel so much more important and special. Other than, I don't know, whenever I see Seth Rollins wrestle somebody, I'm just assuming that he's already wrestled them 12 times on television. Like, I don't feel like it's a first time ever match. That's why Brock and Bobby felt so special. It's like, oh, wow. Like, I've never seen these two in the ring together, ever, one-on-one. So I think it's a problem all the way around. But I do agree with you. I didn't say you should do that every week, but I'm saying you can't only wait every 3 months to do something big and impactful.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think AEW sometimes they throw a whole lot in one basket, but maybe that's your style. I don't know, but
Well, last night was a whole lot.
yeah,
It was a ton.
It was a ton. Definitely, that's something that we got to talk about. That's exactly what I'm talking about as far as Jay White. You know what I mean? Come out, and then you had Keith Lee, make his debut. AQA, did her thing. And her and Jay Cargill not just had a match, but it was a match, commercial break, back and through. So it was a whole lot going on that show last night. Like I said, stuff getting thrown against the wall, and let's see what stick. But it definitely kept your attention. So we definitely got to talk about it. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.